Something is stirring under this Leo new moon. It's not soft, it's not subtle. It's the kind of energy that pushes you into the spotlight, whether you're ready or not. On July 24th, a seed is being planted, but not just any seed. This seed is forged in heat, intention, and in soul hunger. In this video, we're going to dive right into the heart of it. What this lunation is really asking you, what it stirs in the collective, and what it means for your rising sign. So let's begin. When trying to understand energy, a transit, it has many layers. So you got to unpack the many layers and then again build it like a cake. So let's begin with the Sabian symbols. What are the Sabian symbols? There was an astrologer back in like 1925. He got these index cards, blank index cards, and he held them up to this psychic named Elsie Wheeler, and she just foretold what she saw, which ended up becoming called the Sabian symbols, and people use that for interpretation. I like to use them, so here we go. Now, this new moon is happening at 2 degrees Leo. The full moon from this is happening at 13 degrees Leo. All right, and that will be in January when the sun is in Aquarius. All right. Now, when you're using the Sabian symbols, I'm talking about the new moon at the 2 degrees. You actually round up and go to the 3. What does that mean? So if you're looking for what I'm talking about in the Sabian symbol, don't look at 2 degree Leo, look at 3 degree Leo, right? Now, what is the Sabian symbol for this new moon? A middle-aged woman in her long hair flowing over her shoulders and braless youthful garment. What is this? This is a radical refusal to be defined by age or conform to societal rules, right? When it comes to the Sabian symbols, the message of the new moon is planting the seed of independent identity when it's speaking of the Sabian symbol, right? That's to not be willing to conform to societal norms, being you, right? So this is planting the seed when it comes to this Sabian symbol. Independent identity, especially around how you express your vitality, style, and authenticity, regardless of other standards. It's about rewriting the rules on how you express yourself, stepping out of your norm or outdated norms that no longer fit you, right? Now, the full moon, again, is happening at 13 degrees Leo. The Sabian symbol that speaks to this is a human soul seeking opportunities for outward manifestation. Let's keep in mind that new moon to full moon is a cycle. New moon these are not just one-off events. They go together. That's why I'm talking about 13 degrees Leo, which is 6 months from now. Now, that Sabian symbol, a human soul seeking opportunities for outward manifestation. This is the theme of this is speaking to the deeper spiritual desire to express your true self in the world. Remember, go back to the middle-aged woman with the long hair. She is choosing to defy or not conform to the expectations of the world. Go back to 13, right? The message of the full moon, this full moon illuminates where your soul is hungry to be seen and heard. Leo, don't forget the sign Leo. What is Leo's about? It's fixed fire. Some say Leo likes to be the center of attention. So that's why this points to hunger to be seen and heard, right? And this will be the culmination to the new moon seed that's being planted on Thursday the 24th. It's no longer about that youthful rebellion. Hey, I'm just going against it just because I just want to cause chaos and ruckus. It's about your soul's authentic radiance needing a clear path outward to express. So when we look at the new moon to full moon, just when it comes to the Sabian symbols, it's about rejecting external definitions of what others think is appropriate or acceptable for us or you, to unleash the inner truth of your being, regardless of what your people say and society says and social obstacles, right, that you perceive as obstacles. When it comes to the Sabian symbols, new moon to full moon, it's about the universe is trying to give you a permission slip to boldly be yourself, or soul expression. Let's remember, this is Leo. Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun represents soul, purpose. I don't care. Put your adjective on the sun where you want to put it. Now, let's move on. Let's add another layer. I said this new moon is happening at 2 degrees. The full moon is happening at 13 degrees Leo, right? Now, when we look at 2 is the number of dual, it's a number of partnerships, right? But numerology wise, using the Pythagorean system, 2 can point to death, fatality, and destruction, right? It's duality, it's polarity. It's also division. Out of 1 splits 2. The splitting of the atom, creating this illusion of separation. But in all actuality, we all go back to the one or the source. Still connected. The number 2 also represents conflict and contrast. Is 2 the mirror? The number 2 is the number of conflict and contrast, which can lead to undoing or death when not balanced. 2 is the sign of difference. It carries the energy of destruction, but also 2 is about relationships and redefinition. 2 is the end of unity, but it's also the beginning of dialogue. That's why 2 can be associated with fatalities. You ever heard that saying, fall from grace? 2 represents the fall from source. Let's not forget that it's layers, right? Now, if you put the 2 with the Sabian symbol of the middle-aged woman, this degree activated by the new moon speaks to the radical departure of what has been, a rejection of what others say you should be. The symbolism of the middle-aged woman and youthful garment is a direct challenge to divided consciousness, an assertion straight to society that you are going to be who you want to be. So this points to death of the imposed self-image, destruction of conformity, separating yourself from false definitions placed upon you from others' perceptions. Now, let's move on to the full moon. The full moon is happening at 13 degrees Leo. And 13, we all know about the number 13. Everybody's scared of 13. You know, at some places don't even include the number 13. Look in some elevators. some hotels and an apartment, they don't include a 13th floor. Unlucky number 13, right? And the number 13 points to wickedness and wrong. 13 is also considered the number of rebellion and deviation. 13 breaks from the number 12, and 12 is always looked at as the number of perfection. 12 signs, 12 months, the 12 disciples, King Arthur, and the Knights of the Round Table. Snow White. No, she had 7 doors. My bad. But 13 is also the number associated with the misuse of power, the number of crossing boundaries. Being a rebel, it can have 2 outcomes. It can lead to enlightenment, but it also can lead to disaster, depending on intent and the consciousness of the person. And the, when we hear these words like wickedness and wrongdoing, it's not speaking to it in evil terms. It's speaking to it as in misalignment, not on your path, not your spiritual truth. It's not speaking of literal evil, devil and pitchforks and all that stuff. Right? Now, let's not forget, we got to put this 13 in the energy of Leo, and baking the cake with the Sabian symbol of 13. This full moon in January, hopefully it's going to be a moment of reckoning. The soul must speak or risk being distorted. Being misaligned or being off your path can lead to spiritual backlash. If we think about if we bring in the Sabian symbol, the human soul looking for outward expression, what is it that you're trying to express? Are you trying to express truth? Are you trying to express because you feel like you're people pleasing or corrupted vanity? Or are you trying to express because you feel you felt repressed in the past and now the pendulum has got to swing the other way? Now, when we consider baking the layers, new moon to full moon, Sabian symbol, number 2 and 13. This Leo new moon at 2 degrees begins with the energy of 2, the number of death, destruction, and the rupture from unity, which means something must come to an end. An identity, a mask, a way of being that no longer fits you. Remember the image of the woman breaking social norms? Reflects a deeper spiritual act, the courage to leave behind outdated definitions of who they say you should be. And by the time we get to the full moon, the arc of this energy, we get to the number 13 in Leo, the number of wrongness or wickedness. But remember, it's not wrongness or wickedness in the sense of evil or morals. It's much more deeper than that, right? The soul is demanding to be seen. I don't know if you heard of that story, Plato's The Cave, as the person coming out the cave trying to, adjust his eyes to the light the brightness of the light can seem very harsh. And if you're out of alignment with your truth, this distortion with the full moon coming at 13 degrees, it's going to show. But if you did the work and you passed the trial, your soul will shine with integrity and that Leo fire. Now, y'all ready to take it to another layer? Now, I know I do have tarot people who watch me and who's trying to learn astrology. And so I keep telling them that they know astrology, they just don't realize they know it. And so when I talk to them about astrology, I like to I translate what I'm saying into tarot language, so to make them try to understand it a little bit, right? Tarot wise, what would I say to them? I would say this new moon in Leo at 2 degrees is happening in the 5 of Wands. And the 5 of Wands is in 2 degrees also falls in the bounds of the Wheel of Fortune. Now, let's not forget the number 2 that I was talking about earlier. And let's not forget the Sabian symbol in which I began with, right? Now, what is the 5 of Wands? 5 of Wands represents the first decan of Leo. There's 3 decans in every sign. 10, 10, and 10. 10 degrees, 10 degrees, 10 degrees. There's 30 degrees in every sign. So the 5 of Wands is connected to the first decan of Leo. I know I said that the Wheel of Fortune is the new moon is happening in the bounds of Jupiter, but which is the Wheel of Fortune, right? But the bounds of Jupiter is the first 6 degrees. But the bounds of Jupiter only happens in the first 6 degrees of Leo. There's 10 degrees in each decan, right? And so, which means 4 degrees is left over. And those 4 other degrees of Leo, which would still be in that decan, would fall in the bounds of Venus, which would be the Empress, right? So the first 6 degrees of Leo is the Wheel of Fortune, and the other 4 in the first 10 degree decan would be Venus. Now Venus is responsible for more in Leo, but in that first decan, it only has 4 degrees. What does that mean? It means that if the new moon was happening at 7 degrees Leo, we would still be in the 5 of Wands, but I wouldn't be talking about the Wheel of Fortune. I would be using the Empress, right? With that being said, the Wheel of Fortune, Jupiter, is about expansion. It's about beliefs. It's about liberation. With all that being said, let's get to this. 5 of Wands, first decan of Leo, strife, conflict, competition, ego battles, friction that ignites growth. Jupiter, in the bounds of Jupiter, or the Wheel of Fortune, which points to expansion, beliefs, and liberation. Jupiter is connected to the Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune is about turning points and destiny. Destiny in motion, unpredictable shifts, right? Let's not forget the Sabian symbol of the middle-aged woman in youthful garments. Independence, rebellion from age, from the norms, societal norms, and external identities and pressures put on us. Let's not forget the number 2, death and destruction, right? One other thing, another part I need to add. This new moon is happening in the bounds of Jupiter, right? And I also forgot to add that this new moon is going to be trine to Saturn and Neptune over there in Aries, which I find something interesting. What does being in the bounds of something mean? It means that when it comes to this new moon, Jupiter has a say about what goes on. Now, where's Jupiter? Jupiter's over there in Cancer, exalted in Cancer, right? And Jupiter in Cancer is about emotional. Cancer is about emotions, ruled by the moon, and Jupiter is expansion. So put them both together, we got emotional expansion, returning to your inner roots. Cancer represents the home, family, roots. So inner roots and ancestral blessings, right? Now, Jupiter, like I said, Jupiter's over there in Cancer, exalted in Cancer. Where's Saturn? Saturn is in Aries, retrograde in Aries. And Saturn in Aries, retrograde, is Saturn can point to karma, and retrograde means rewind, review. So putting that in this layer of with Saturn, karmic review of your personal will, immature anger, self versus responsibility. Why are they talking about immature? What sign is it in? Leo. Saturn's in Aries though. This new moon is in Leo, which could point to child, and Aries is the first sign, which can be youthful, the youth. So putting all that together, it's like this new moon is igniting a spiritual heat trial. You're pulled between your ego and your will, the Five of Wands, the soul and destiny, Wheel of Fortune. Jupiter in Cancer expands your emotional intuition, water, even as Saturn's retrograde in Aries reveals where immature will or isolation has blocked your growth. Jupiter growth. This new moon is your chance to let go of the false fire and prepare for authentic sovereignty. Prepare. Remember, new moon is planting the seed. You just can't, it's not just going to happen tomorrow. You got to do the work, and we'll all be able to tell if you did the work when we get to this 13 degrees full moon in Leo. Right? Now, I said the first 10 degrees of Leo falls in the Five of Wands. And this full moon is happening at 13, which means it's happening in the next 10 degrees of Leo. Right? Which means it's a different card. 13 degrees Leo is connected to the Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands it's a card about victory, leadership, and public acclaim. Remember, let's not forget, we was talking about society when it comes to the first Sabian symbol. Leo is about attention. Who are you going to get attention from? Others. Remember the number 2? That's the number of others, not you, someone else. Right? Now, this full moon is happening in the bounds of Saturn. I know you was wondering, well, he hadn't talked about Saturn. Why is he bringing Saturn in right at this part? I said because I found something interesting that stood out to me, right? Now, by the time we get to the full moon, the thing that I find interesting is Jupiter is still going to be in Cancer, exalted in Cancer. But by the time we get to the full moon, Jupiter will be retrograde and Saturn will be direct. It will be in a different sign, right? So at this new moon, the trine with Saturn is going to be in Aries. By the time we get to the full moon, Saturn is not going to be in Aries. It's retrograding back into Pisces. It will retrograde back to about 25 degrees Pisces and then come direct. Well, by the time we get to the full moon, Saturn will be in Pisces. It'll be direct, but it'll be around 28 degrees, which is the critical degree. So Jupiter at the new moon is in Cancer, exalted. Saturn is retrograde. When we get to the full moon, Jupiter will be retrograde and Saturn will be direct. Now, when it comes to tarot, Saturn is connected to the World card, right? Well, First off, Saturn is the planet of authority, stability, responsibility, truth. And the world card is connected to Saturn or represents Saturn. And the world card is about completion, mastery, and karmic reward. You don't have to be scared of the world card, or you don't have to be scared of Saturn if you don't mind doing the work. Right? Let's not forget the Sabian symbol of this, which is the human soul seeking outward manifestation, authentic expression, or the breakdown of authentic expression. 13, wickedness, wrong, spiritual test of integrity. Jupiter retrograde in Cancer during this time. Retrograde makes us focus inward. So it's going to be pushing us by the time we get to the full moon, an inward spiritual journey, inner teaching, and inner teaching. All right. Saturn direct at the critical 28 degrees will be coming to the final karmic lesson, because Saturn is not going to be back to Pisces for a while. Let's say 30 years. Emotional. And so this is also talking about the sign of Pisces is a water sign and could be the ocean, and ocean is boundless. And so this Saturn at the karmic 28 degree is pushing you to have emotional boundaries. And Pisces is a mystical sign, and having structure inside your mysticism. Your mysticism just can't be all over the place. Have some type of structure to it, right? Now, the full moon narrative, putting all this together with the tarot, the number, the Sabian symbol. The full moon is your soul's exam. What? Exam? Man, I'm 50 years old. I thought I was done taking tests. Now the universe be testing you, right? 6 of Wands promises recognition, but only if your intentions are pure. Leo is a fire sign. Fire likes to burn off impurities. We're going to be in Saturn's bounds, the realm, and Saturn likes accountability. You may not like accountability, but Saturn does. Saturn also speaks to karma. Saturn also likes truth. It was said, if you want to offend a strong person, tell them a lie. If you want to offend a weak person, tell them the truth. Well, Saturn is not weak, and Saturn wants truth. Do you? Can you handle truth? With the Jupiter retrograde, let's watch out for spiritual inflation, because Jupiter likes to blow things up. But sometimes things need to blow up to push you into inner reflection. You know, why don't you do the smart thing before things blow up? Do the inner reflection to prevent the blow up. But if you're someone that just needs to experience and likes the experience, go ahead and let it blow up first, and then go ahead and do the inner reflection. And with Saturn, and Saturn will be direct at this time at the critical degree, the final Piscean degree. You stand at the end of illusions. Modern astrology, ruler of Pisces is Neptune, and Neptune is illusions, preparing for a whole new karmic cycle. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. The new moon. The wheels turn. You meet your fate, but who you are now must die. Jupiter blesses from within. Saturn will burn from behind in Aries. By the time we get to the full moon, the world is waiting. Your soul's truth must walk the stage. Leo is the actor and actress in the zodiac. Will you have mom spaghetti on your shirt and get up on that stage? Will you be ready to face the consequences? Six of Wands. Victory isn't a performance. It's actually being in alignment. New moon in Leo, July 24th. You stand in the fire of self-definition, but it isn't about surface level bravery. It's about burning off the ego masks that no longer serve you. Jupiter in Cancer swells your emotional awareness, while Saturn retrograde in Aries shows where your fire has been immature, impatient, or misdirected. The wheel is turning. Let the old image die. Because when we get to this full moon in Leo, February 1st, 2026, it's the soul's moment of truth. The Six of Wands only crowns those who have passed that test, the test of fire. Jupiter retrograde demands quiet humility. Jupiter don't want you to be out there bragging and boasting after your victory. Saturn will be direct in Pisces at 28 degrees, bringing a spiritual reckoning. What goes around comes around. Don't forget that the world card rules this bound, and it asks for nothing less than total inner alignment. Saturn don't play, y'all. The soul is demanding to shine. Your false pride has to collapse. But true power, it will always rise. Now let's get to what y'all all came for, the rising signs, and let's make this personal. What does this mean for you personally? Aries rising. Leo is your fifth house. Creative risk, joy, visibility, children, and the heart. The new moon ignites a powerful ego cleansing in your creative life. Are you pursuing joy or just applause? Conflict in relationship may expose unspoken needs. By the time you get to the full moon, it's going to ask you, are you ready to lead with your light? If the love you express is honest, you're seen. If it's performative, you'll be exposed. Your tarot messages, the Five of Wands. Your creative expression is being tested. Your Six of Wands. If your joy is real, the world will respond. Let your inner child direct the show, not your pride. Taurus rising. Leo falls in your fourth house. Home, family, roots, belonging, emotional security. This new moon disrupts your inner foundation when it comes to family dynamics, ancestral patterns, and identity wounds may surface. Jupiter in Cancer softens your voice. Saturn retrograde shows you where your fear blocks emotional truth. The full moon is a test of emotional maturity. Have you done the inner work? Your legacy begins with how you nurture yourself. Your tarot message, the Five of Wands. Emotional friction shakes the family tree. Six of Wands. Rise from the ashes of your origin and claim your inner throne. Real belonging starts with owning your truth. Gemini rising. Leo falls in your third house. Voice, message, communication, siblings, local neighborhood. This new moon is a creative combustion in your voice, a moment to fight for authenticity in how you speak and what you say. Jupiter is giving you support from behind the scenes. Saturn retrograde reveals where your ambitions don't match your integrity. But this full moon rewards honesty. Speak the truth or feel the burn. Your words become spells, And if that's the case, is your soul aligned? Your tarot message. 5 of Wands. Verbal chaos brings clarity. 6 of Wands. Speak from the soul and others will follow. Your message is magic. Don't copy, channel. Cancer rising, Leo falls in your second house. Money, value, self-worth, self-esteem, material stability. This new moon tests your relationship to power and possessions. Are you fighting for validation through the things you have? Jupiter in your sign wants growth, but Saturn retrograde forces you to ask yourself, what's truly worth committing to? By the time we get to the full moon, it's going to show if your value system aligns with your soul. Money or recognition will come, but only if it's earned through authenticity. Your tarot message. The 5 of Wands. Competing values create internal conflict. Your 6 of Wands. Confidence is the reward for value rooted in truth. You're not your bank account. You're your integrity. Leo rising. This new moon is falling in your first house. Identity, image, body, your personal will, your self-expression. This new moon is an ego survey. The you thought you were needs to burn down. You can no longer fake the fire. Jupiter in Cancer is asking for humility. Saturn retrograde drags up relationship karma for cleansing, because this will be your full moon movement. Either you'll be ready to shine as your soul self, or the performance will fall flat. Your tarot message. 5 of Wands. Who are you beneath that crown? 6 of Wands. Soul confidence becomes visible success. This is your rebirth. Wear your soul, not your mask. Virgo rising. Leo falls in your 12th house. Spiritual surrender, endings, unconscious, solitude, and healing. This new moon is igniting hidden battles. Old ego wounds, spiritual trials, and karmic entanglements flare up. Jupiter helps from the collective field, but Saturn retrograde reveals who you need to forgive. Maybe yourself. By the time we get to the full moon, it's time to close the chapter. Only if you've done the soul work, you'll rise. If not, the ego will still be looking for a hiding place. Your tarot message. 5 of Wands. Fight your inner demons, not your outer projections. 6 of Wands. Real victory happens in solitude. Retreat to realign. The soul whispers in silence. Libra rising. Leo falls in your 11th house. Friendships, community, vision, hopes, and dreams. The new moon challenges your place in the tribe. Do you compete or do you collaborate? Does your vision inspire, or are you just looking for applause? Jupiter is trying to uplift your career image, but Saturn retrograde exposes service fatigue or burnout. By the time we get to the full moon, it's going to test your leadership in community. Do you lead from the heart, or do you lead because it's all just hype? Your tarot message. Your 5 of Wands. Who are you amongst your peers? 6 of Wands. When you are authentic, that's what earns real respect. Your soul's vision is ready. Are you aligned with the right tribe? Scorpio rising. Leo falls in your 10th house. Career, reputation, your public role, even your legacy. This new moon is a trial by fire of your career. Are you truly expressing your soul purpose, or are you just chasing status? Jupiter boosts your spiritual direction. Saturn retrograde reveals creative blocks or ego traps in love or work. By the time we get to the full moon, either the crown fits you or confronts you. Success is possible, but it must come from alignment, not image. Your tarot message. 5 of Wands. Public conflict reveals your inner misalignment. 6 of Wands. If you walk your purpose, you will walk into your power. The world is watching. Show them your soul. Sagittarius rising, Leo falls in your ninth. Belief, truth, philosophy, higher learning, publishing, law. This new moon is begging you to break out of outdated spiritual or ideological structures. Jupiter expands the intimate truth. Saturn retrograde reviews your roots, your family karma, and ancestral imprint. By the time we get to the full moon, hopefully it brings clarity. Are you teaching from truth, or are you just performing knowledge? Do you have a soul-led message that finds its way? Your tarot message: Five of Wands. Competing truths within you stir the pot. Six of Wands. Your philosophy becomes your platform. Teach what your soul knows, not what earns you likes. Capricorn rising, Leo falls in your 8th house. Transformation, intimacy, shared resources, psychological healing. This new moon triggers deep, powerful dynamics within your money, partnerships, or psyche. Jupiter supports emotional, mature relationships. Saturn retrograde is asking you for spiritual accountability in communication. This full moon is going to bring revelations in intimacy, power, or your soul contracts. What's hidden will surface. The question is, will the truth heal, or will the truth haunt? Tarot message: Five of Wands. Soul versus ego power struggles. Six of Wands. Real intimacy is sacred, not strategic. Let the ego die so the soul can emerge. Aquarius rising, Leo falls in your 7th house. Relationships, contracts, partnerships, projections. This new moon is a relationship mirror burn. Ego clashes may ignite, revealing where your authentic self hides or dominates. Jupiter uplifts your routines. Saturn retrograde reviews money karma or value distortions. The full moon will clarify the contract. Who deserves your loyalty? Are you performing partnership, or are you embodying it? Your tarot message: Five of Wands. Relationship friction reveals deeper truths. Six of Wands. Stand beside those who honor your soul. Love isn't a performance, it's presence. Pisces rising, Leo falls in your 6th house. Work, health, habits, service, daily responsibilities. This new moon confronts you with inner battles around your time, your energy, and your self-worth in service. Jupiter is trying to lift your joy and your play, but Saturn retrograde in your sign has been the great teacher of boundaries and self-respect. The full moon asks, is your service soul aligned? If you've honored your body and your calling, you will be recognized. Your tarot message: Five of Wands. Your daily life is chaotic for a reason, to provoke healing. Six of Wands. Mastery comes from discipline plus the soul. Don't just work, work with purpose. This new moon is ruled by the Five of Wands, and it sits in the bounds of Jupiter, meaning the seed should come from your inner fire and aim for growth through challenge. Ask yourself, what bold act of self-expression am I ready to commit to? What inner friction is calling me to level up, not shut down? It's not about being perfect or ready. It's about being authentic and brave enough to enter the arena. What must be broken or released? Let's not forget the number 2, death, which is linked to this new moon. You'll likely need to shed a false layer of self, a persona, a fear, an outdated identity to make room for what you're planning on Thursday, the 24th. In order to bloom, you must be willing to burn. The full moon lights up with the Six of Wands, the card of victory, spotlight, recognition, and public affirmation. But also, it's in Saturn's bounds, meaning you must earn it. Ain't nobody just gonna hand it to you, especially Saturn. Now, when we get to this full moon bloom, it should feel like a clear step towards your destiny of being seen and acknowledged. Something that reflects integrity and not just for the applause. A sign that your soul voice is finally breaking through. Success under this full moon, February 1st, it comes not from performance, but from purpose. If your bloom is getting attention, is it for your mask or is it for your message? This Leo lunar portal holds a sacred test of the ego. The Five of Wands demands friction. The Wheel of Fortune spins fate. The Six of Wands brings visibility, but only the world can bring the cycle to a close. This is not a time to perform. It's a time to embody. Let your soul speak. This is Paul Heath with I Am Astrology Readings. Know thyself and balance your energy.